All right, here we are. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you are located. Really excited to get this conversation going. Today, we will be doing a live market review. We'll be going over whatever happened over the last couple of days. We've had a live stream on FOMC day. Lots of great takes that we had during that day. We saw some big moves coming out of FOMC as well. So, really excited to dive into this. I also want to make sure that I put it out there anything that we discuss here today, or really any time. It's not financial advice. So, we are just here doing price analysis for ourselves, sharing our thoughts on what we are looking at, and it's purely for educational and fun purposes. So thank you for joining, and also make sure that you're liking and retweeting this space, sharing it with your communities. I'll actually be going around and sharing the link in a lot of different communities as well here shortly. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get things kicked off. How are you doing today, Bits?
I am doing just fine. I'm doing well. Doing well.
Awesome.
Enjoying all this volatility. But
Yes.
yeah, having a blast. Nah, look, I think as long as long as you can come into these markets with a desire to learn and to grow and to, just continue um, sharpening the axe, then I think you have
Hmm.
fun. And it's like you don't take things too seriously, and you're more interested in getting better than you are in uh, uh, you know uh, feeding the ego. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing right now, is we're seeing a separation from from people that are a bit ego driven and have been wrong for a while. Lady Trader, we were talking about one of these guys on the space we just came off of, versus the
Hmm.
people that are just saying, hey, look, I humbly disagree, or I humbly think that maybe there's some evidence here, or there's a potential here that shows something different, and we're kind of seeing that right now. So I'm excited. We're
Yeah.
going into good times. It's going to be an amazing year, a year of building, a year of growth. This year is going to be a phenomenal year, loaded with opportunities, and it's for those that are willing to step up and take those.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this bear market is for builders.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's definitely there. Price, how are you doing? I see Kelvin has joined the party as well.
I am good. Um, you know, talked about this earlier. Silver talked about the correction, posted about it the other day. So yeah, overall, it's all good. It's unbelievable. Um, like it's unbelievable this move. It truly is. Like
Yeah.
yeah, we talked about the correction, all of that, but like, this thing does look like it wants to speed run the correction. Like, I had a support zone, a weekly support zone down around, 85 and a half or something. And we
Mm-hmm.
already tagged it. Like, today, we already tagged it. Yesterday, we're up around like 120.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we tagged the 85 support
Yeah,
zone.
it was a major
Yeah.
crash there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I cannot wait for us to kind of dive into that trade as well. Kelvin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I was already off mute. Nice. Yeah. Pretty wild week. Lots going on in markets. Um, I just talked to a kind of a youth group a little bit about investing and trading and different things. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just telling them how odd it was that we have gold soaring, silver soaring, and copper soaring, and usually you don't have all three of those running in the same direction. But
Mm-hmm.
wow, what a correction overnight. Last 24 hours has been pretty wild to see. I don't trade really any of this, but it kind of gives you an insight into a little bit of the skepticism across the world markets. And you also realize that the big boys, the banks, and all those guys are just as degen as anyone. I mean, watching a market run like that is uh, everyone's a degen at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's been fun. The metals have been fun, and now, of course, and we're going to get into that as well here soon. But what Bits was saying on Wolf Spaces, the rotation from metals, where is that going? Like all the questions that are popping up. Bits, that needs to be a soundbite. Like you need to extract that from the space and actually create a video off of it and share it. It needs to go viral because you were so right about that. That people need to hear it. So it was good
Yeah,
take.
I've got a couple clips that I've just been dragging my feet on, but I'm going to work on that today. Today and tomorrow, I'm getting some freaking videos out from little clips that over like the last week, I think needed to get out.
Mhm.
But yeah, because I do think that's coming. So I do think that we're starting to see
Yeah.
it. And it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. William, you are here with us today. How are you feeling? And we, by the way, have a deepen date coming up on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. EST. So we will be doing a stream right before our market review bit. So I'll be sitting down with William, and you're welcome to join as well, or anyone else, really,
Cool.
because we'll be talking about deepen and learning about how William makes his wealth in deepen world and how he makes money. And he's
It's
gonna show us
crumbs.
all
It's
the
more like
secrets.
crumbs right now for sure. But
Crumbs,
no,
yeah.
it's yeah, it's not bad. I
Not
would say
early.
today is definitely a bit more. It's like somber, if anything. It's like a very like it's not bad or good. I didn't really trade today, which is good. But I mean, overall, markets are down. Of course, when prices are down, it's not like the best for someone like me who has a long term holding portfolio. Mainly, I have a small trading portfolio, but I do have a lot of like money in my swing trading portfolio, my cryptos and stocks and commodities and all that stuff. So overall, not looking too amazing, but at the same time, I'm still earning some money. Like I said, like the deep end stuff, I'm getting daily revenue from that. So I'm still printing money daily, which is great. State of Deep report came out today from Masari Crypto. They're a big research firm in the crypto space. They release a report every year on Deep and kind of the progress it's made. So excited to dive into that. I got a lot out of that, and it kind of gave me some newfound optimism for Deep So excited to share that. But overall, doing okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. I'm still continuing to share the link in different communities that I'm in. So I'm going to be continuing to do that for a little bit here. Bits, you want to share your charts, my friend? Bits is muted. Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
He said no,
Yeah.
thank you.
No, no, I was muted. Sorry. I did miss that last little bit though. What happened?
No, I said, are you going to go ahead and share your charts?
Yeah. Are we ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Are we sure?
Yes, we are.
Give me 1 second. The heck is my trading view? Okay. All right. Yeah, look, so I'm going to continue to kind of give a bit of a contrarian take to what I'm seeing on the timeline. And this doesn't mean that the opposite, the opposing take is wrong. I'm just choosing, right? I'm electing to highlight what a positive move out of this range could look like, right? Because yes, we all know what the bearish outlook, right? Like I don't think I need to spend a lot of time on that because I myself have also talked about that. We talked about them when we were up here in the highs. We know that this 70 to 74K area is the next big target. We know that. We know the levels going down below that. Like none of this is really surprising or anything that I feel is novel or that we need to sit there and hash out this big thesis to support. Like, no, I think at this point it's pretty clear. And then we also know that if you were to lose 74K, if you get a weekly close down here below this, you're also now pivoting structure, right? Like something is now on a weekly chart has now changed because you're going from higher highs and higher lows to suddenly making a lower low on the weekly. So easy enough. Like I don't think I have to spend a whole lot of time there. What I really want to talk about is the fact that everyone is so sure at this point that there's no way we can get out of here. And I'm not saying that even what I'm going to share today is the likely scenario, because I don't believe that it is probably the highest or the most likely scenario, but I do believe it is a possibility. It is a possibility. And in trading, a lot of times, even if something is 80% guaranteed to happen, even that doesn't mean it happens all the time, guaranteed 100%, right? There's still a 20% chance that you could get the other side of that. Even if it's 90%, there's still a 10% chance. And sometimes that 20% does play out. So even if here there's an 80 to 90% probability that we're heading lower, that still means that the move to the upside, a potential bounce out of here, still holds a 20, a 10 to 20% probability. And sometimes this is the one that plays out. So that's all I want to illustrate today, is because I think you have to have a clear invalidation. If we're all so sure and so sold and so clear on what the downside move looks like, let's maybe get really crystal clear on how we can spot when this move down here is starting to become less likely. Let's maybe get a little more clear on what would need to happen in the short term to make this move maybe push back a week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever, right? Because I think that that's going to be important. If you're a trader, you want to keep a pulse on those types of things, right? I think North Star kind of made an analogy earlier where he was kind of referencing weather. It's like you kind of want to know, like we might say, yeah, we're definitely going into winter, but what are the chances that we're going to get a heat wave or something like that in the short term that might be worth us paying attention to? Or we're heading into summer, what are the chances we're going to get some kind of snowstorm, some kind of winter storm that we maybe want to prep for in the short term? So that's all I kind of want to look at this as. So here, look, this is pretty simple. Yes, we've broken down off of this attempt to get close to 100K, got 97.9 or something like that, basically call it 98K. We've since then broken down. The beauty in this, though, is that we are putting in some very, very clean structure in terms of swings. So you have very clean invalidations. You've got very clean levels to the upside of what price would need to do in order to start reclaiming some of this and maybe reversing this. We still have not taken out this low down here at 80K. This was the low from November. We're still above that. We're still above that. We are below December lows, though. So this PML level right here is previous month low. That was the December low here at about 83.8, somewhere around there. We are currently below that. But as you can see, we don't have a daily close below that level yet. We don't have a daily candle below the December low. We don't have a weekly candle close below that level yet. Okay. And so far the monthly is also not below that, right? The monthly has also still not closed below that. So we've got a little bit of time. Monthly's down to a day and 6 hours. Weekly's down to a little bit over that. So we still have a little bit of time, but I think that this is going to be a very key level to watch, because if for whatever reason, if in the next, let's say today, in the next nearly 6 hours, this candle comes back up and it closes this daily candle at or above that previous month low, and everything below is just a wick. Okay. That to me starts to make me pay a little bit more attention here, because number one, the big expansion of the downside did not close below it. It swept it, did not close below it. If today we can't close below it and we still close above it or at it, then I start to say, okay, this level, it's showing some fight. It's got some fight to it. It wants to hold. And then so then I'm looking at the next daily candle that will open later tonight. Is there any chance that this thing is getting ready to go back to the upside? If we get another close here, is there a probability, even if it's small, is there a probability that this thing wants to reverse down here if we continue failing to close below previous month low? And if that's the case, we'll look up here. I think for the sake of keeping it very simple, like this is very clear price action here. You really want to just see, at some point, you want to see a move above this here. So above like 85.6, because that's on lower time frame. That's this swing here. So you're going to want to see a move above that 85.6 on higher time frames, like on a 4-hour, higher, a daily. You want to see a move above at least this level here, 90.6, right? Because that was the last little swing high that we got here, right? So you had a low, high, lower low, lower high, and then you had this big expansion to the downside, right? So that was your big move. If we, we'd be watching this level. If we can get a daily close above 90.7 after getting above or holding 84.7, right? This right here starts to tell us, okay, we're kind of reversing something in the low time frames. You get above that, or even this level here above, like 91.3, right? You get above this little area here. Let's say, let's just call it 92, just for a sake. If we can get above 92, 91.5 to 92, then you start increasing the probabilities of, can we get a move up here back towards 98? Because that's the next swing that you would need to see at that point, right? What's the next swing up here? 98. Right? 98 is the next level. So you just take it a level at a time. But right now, I do think it's very interesting that this previous month low is currently holding. And again, this, in the next 5 hours, this thing could be completely obliterated. We could, in the next 5 hours, see this candle just absolutely melt down like this. And then that idea is dead in the water. And that's perfect. That's what we want. I think Price said it earlier. We have an opportunity right now where we can be wrong, and we can be wrong quickly. Those are some of the best ideas, like the best trading ideas that you can have, especially when they're like counter sentiment, or they're a little bit of a contrarian take at the moment, which a lot of times is where your best entries come from. If they allow you to be wrong quickly and to quickly say, oof, that idea was wrong, that just means you can quickly pivot, reset, and look for a new setup, and maybe try and get on the right side of the trend. So if this is what happens, like that's going to quickly invalidate this idea. This is a very simple idea here that I'm covering. Previous month low, if that can hold for whatever reason, if we're able to reclaim that, I think there is the potential that we try and make a push back up here towards 90K. Whether 90K fails, that's a whole separate argument. We'll handle that after we can get a move back above this level here. So pretty straightforward. That's basically what I'm looking at. I'm not really paying attention to anything else, because I think ETH, SOL, everything else is just going to follow. If BTC can do something like that, these will also reverse. If BTC melts down, these will also melt down and take out all the lows. Solana is actually an example of one that has pretty much taken out everything. The only thing below would be the April low when BTC went to 74K in April of last year. So, but Sol has basically cleared everything out. Everything from Q4, Q3, all of that's been cleared out to the downside. So, yeah, if we can get some bounces, I think this could be interesting. Got some clear upside levels. Essentially, at this point, Sol's cleared everything to the downside. So if it can get a bounce, and if we can turn this market around, you're looking at clearing to the upside, right? So you've got some clear levels up here that we'd be paying attention to. But that's my current thought. That's my thesis. It's not really, it's not about being right or wrong. It's just about, I'm seeing some interesting levels on the chart, and I want to pay attention to them, and I want to let price action dictate to me where we're going next. And part of that is just having really clear invalidations. If we can't get above previous month low, if we can't get a close back above that, if we close below and we go, then yeah, then that to me just solidifies that, okay, this is clearly where we're going. And I'll be looking for short opportunities in that case. If, let's say, this melts down and goes like that, I'll be very interested in watching for any kind of pushes up here to potentially grab some kind of short exposure up here. Like there'll be a setup up there somewhere. So, but I need price action to tell me that it's more likely I'm going to get something like that, as opposed to, maybe this thing doesn't break down quite in the way everyone's expecting, and then this thing shoots up, does something like that, and I need to be looking instead for some long positioning over here to try and play something like that maybe. So yeah, not a lot of ego in it. It's not about me being right or wrong. It's not about calling it or getting any kind of clout. It's just about, we're at a key level. We've wiped out pretty much all of the liquidity for BTC. Other than making a big move down here, I really don't see why we would chop around down here. I think either we're going to melt, take that low out and go down to the next level, or this thing's going to try and reclaim and potentially make a move higher. So I'm just watching for any kind of indication as to what's coming next. And look, I will share one more chart, and I'm going to use this other tab over here to share it. So I do find that this is interesting. And Lady Trader, you've talked about this a couple times. Just give me one sec because I do have to change some settings on here. But I think that after you see this, you guys will see why this is interesting to me. Bam, bam. Get rid of those. And there's still an EMA or something. There we go. All right. Beautiful. Check this out. Okay. And I shared this as well. So Lady Trader is big on historical data. She's very, very big on historical data. And one of the things that we notice is everyone's pointing to this part of that chart right now, right? Everyone's pointing to that part of the chart right now because this was the last move before everything broke down and went into a full-blown bear market, right? This is your bull trap. Everyone's been pointing to this saying, oh, this is it. We're played out. We're actually breaking down right now. We're here, right? They're saying we're down there. What I find interesting as I was looking at this chart is this is the 800 EMA on a daily chart. You had two touches back here in what looked like was going to be a violent breakdown. Like when you go back and you look at this looked pretty rowdy, looked pretty similar like what we're getting today. You know, price had come down, it had tried to go make a move high, similar to like how we just made a move high to 98K. And then it just absolutely melted and it just cleared out everything. Same thing. You had a nice little consolidation period here. You had that liquidity stacked below, just like we did here at 85, 86K. Very similar. Came down. And what ended up happening is you had this huge reversal here. And then it ultimately ran the highs. It ran the highs one more time, right? So if this were to repeat again, this is essentially like that 98K rejection. This would be a move up to that 100K still. Right? This would be not breaching 80K to the downside, coming really close, 81, 82, something like that, still making one more run. And then you finally get that next move that blows through this 800 on a daily chart. So who knows? I'm not like married to the idea that it has to repeat perfectly, but I did find it interesting that you had two touches and then it was on the third that you actually breached. And we've only had recently over here, we've only had really two times that we've come down and played with that. So, or yeah, this is now the second one. So will be interesting. History doesn't repeat perfectly. Maybe this time around, this is the one that's melting down. So I think you either have a scenario where this is going to somehow reclaim and run the highs again, get back up, 100K somewhere up there, and then it rolls over, or the bear case is that this is simply ready to go significantly lower. This is going to melt down here. Maybe at some point you get a little bit of relief and then you get something like that. So I think it's good to just be able to entertain both possibilities and just say, yeah, like this is what it would look like if we bounce. This is what it's going to look like if we don't. And then go in there and identify what levels confirm or invalidate that potential idea. So, but that's it. Look, I mean, I think we're either going to hold this 80K and somewhere in here reverse, kind of like what I've drawn out, or I think the probabilities of the move lower start to increase, and I'm looking for a bearish retest back into, maybe back up in here into like 86, but it'll be 86 to 90. It would be like a big bearish retest, a short opportunity if we can't reclaim this with some strength. So that's my take. And I'm sticking to it.
Love that, Bits. Really great takes there. And I think we are mostly on the same page here as well on a lot of these things. I want to call out a couple of things as well. So I'm going to share my chart here real quick so we can take a look at it. It's really, so far, it's playing out exactly what we were discussing during our, not FOMO Friday, but the last stream that we did on Wednesday, which was the FOMC day. Let me bring this down. And hi, Carl. Thanks for joining. I see a bunch of comments there. D5 Wave, thank you for joining. Thanks, CMMR, thank you for reposting. Dawson, hello. Web3 Lucia, thank you for joining. All right, so we were looking at, so here right now, I'm not in a trade, but if it does break here, then I'm interested in going long, like in a breakout trade or maybe a retest of this. And so because then of course we'll be moving up higher, right? And so we'll see how this one works out. My concern is that we are spending a lot of time here at this level, and that it's not reversing quickly enough. And a lot of times this comes from Kelvin Ryan, who's my mentor, and he would say that if the price is if you're bullish at a level and you bought in and it's not moving quickly enough, if it's consolidating for a very, very long time, it's just not worth it. Get out, because most likely it's going to break to the downside. And that is a lot more true in Forex and commodities and equities market than it is. I've seen crypto consolidating for days and then making a move to the upside. But it's like a teaching that I still hold on to very closely. So let's look at a daily chart real quick here. This was the 800 EMA that Bix was talking about. I did mention that, and I drew this one when we were sitting right here, right? That we are likely going to be retesting this level, and I was hoping that we can probably just get really close to this EMA and not necessarily even break it. But again, you're not going to get it 100% accurate, right? You're going to get very, very close to it, and then you're going to determine, okay, if it does this, then I'm going to do this. That's really what trading is all about, right? It's not like you're not predicting to take the trade right away. It's not like, oh, I feel like it's going to do this, so I'm just going to put a buy order here, by the way, and I'm just going to let it run. That's not how it works. You wait, you form a thesis, then you wait to see what price does, how it reacts when it gets there. Is there a valid trade for me to take? No, there was none, right? What did happen, though, if you remember on Wednesday, I did say during the stream that if we were sitting here somewhere and I said, well, if it was me 10 years ago, I would definitely short this level. And why I didn't, that day, I just did not feel super confident in that one. I wasn't 100% there, right? So when you're seeing something like this, why I wasn't 100% there was because there was a level up higher, which I thought might be retested. And so and it was also middle of the range, right? So what you do is when price is in the middle of the range, there's really no trade to take. You're not going to take a trade here. It just doesn't work. The way that you take a trade is either you wait for the lower end of the range and then maybe look for a opportunity to go long, or you look for the top and then look for an opportunity to go short. So that's really where the experience comes in, right? That, okay, it's in the middle of the range. Yeah, 10, 12 years ago, young and dumb and stupid, yeah, I would have probably taken it. Maybe 15 years ago, I would have taken this trade. But now I would not take a trade in the middle of the range because price could go either direction. That's just that's just bad. But what I did identify were a few things, if you remember. It was this level up here, which is the FOMC, pre-FOMC high, and then pre-FOMC low. And what I did say, whenever price has a range like this, you can go back and listen to that. It is recorded, is that both ends of these are normally tested. Is it like 100% of the time? No. But we are talking a good over 90% of the time. That's what happens, right? I've seen price do that over and over and over again. And you can go back and look at the chart as well. And I did have a short bias. Why? Because remember I mentioned this is like a right before the FOMC, right? We are talking about a Europe session. You're coming out of Asia. It creates this beautiful W here for you. This is basically how it's viewed as by people, is a double bottom, right? And also some people would probably short it here because they are seeing a double top. For me, this was if you're looking at it, and I would have even taken this trade, and I would be like, okay, this is a very tricky one because they are definitely, price is going to come back down and take the stops here because there was no stop hunt below this. And so I would have taken this trade and I would wait for this kind of three pushes, right? So 1, 2, and 3. Usually I would either get out at the third push or I would wait for this to happen, something like this, and then I'd get out. So it would still be a nice valid trade setup. If I was awake, I would have taken this one. But remember what I said was this was too clear. And when market gives you a clear looking W, it is, and it happens a lot even around FOMC time. Please start paying attention to this. It happens like Europe session coming out of Asia. A lot of times you'll see patterns like this. And then what happens, people go long because, oh my gosh, we are bullish, it's FOMC, Feds are going to save us. And then the markets basically crush you. So I did say this was a very tricky W for me. Price is definitely going to go back down and hit the stops here. I also said whatever move it is, the first move is going to be significant. So if we do break this range to the downside, there's going to be a significant move down. And that's what we are seeing. This was not unexpected, right? We were expecting that move. There's absolutely no question around that. And then what I also said, if you do find a nice entry, what I would be looking to do is if there's a nice long setup, we are potentially going above this 90K, right? And so that's the move that I'm looking for to see if I can catch that move. That's really the plan. And so, and then the other one was this W right here. Even though it did have a nice little stop hunt, it's not my favorite pattern. I've seen it so many times where market would give you like a pattern like this, and then a lot of people would buy because again, this is a double bottom, right? And then the price will hit the stops of this level as well. And so we saw this one happening really nicely as well. And it was just pretty much in one go. It's like everybody who went long here, they were completely crushed. And so those are things that I look for, are these patterns, and figuring out, okay, this pattern is tricky. Price is definitely going to be hitting the stops here. This one is tricky. This is probably going to be hitting the stops as well here. And so this was actually a nice one, right? I was not concerned about this. This was actually a nice move. We can say it did not hit this one, right? So you could also say this was like a multi-session, almost like inducing you to go long. So this is another thing. Markets they keep telling you go long, buy, buy, buy. And retail traders are normally trading these patterns, and they're going to buy because it is double bottom. It's coming out of this, this is a nice little support area. And then of course, none of this holds. So you wait until the stops are hit and then you buy or sell. That's basically what I do normally. And so now we are sitting here. Daily chart is looking pretty ugly right now. Let's see if we do get a bounce here, right? If we don't get a bounce here, then what's the play? Then, well, price is going to be breaking down, retest of this EMA. Hopefully, if it does happen, then I'll be looking for short opportunities. So right now, not in a hurry to go long or go short. Looking for a long opportunities if price closes above the CMA, right? Closes above gives us a nice pattern, then maybe we can ride it up above 100K or maybe like above 90K, somewhere around here. I'm hoping we hit this level right here, 200 EMA, wherever that is. This is a moving average. Moving averages move. So right now it's sitting at about 98.1. Bits has been saying 90, 98 before 70s. Let's see if we can get that. I would love to see that happening because it would give us a nice little short entries as well. Overall, you guys already know what I've said. This is a bear year, right? We've been talking about it. October was the top. That's been working out perfectly for us. Thankfully, we were out of the market. Following that historical data, most of the people in my community were out of the markets as well. And they did sell the top. Most people did sell the top beautifully. And so that was great. And so now we are going to just wait to see what happens. I do want you to remember one thing. When I'm hearing things like, oh, we are going to go into 70s and then we're going to go back above and 100K and all of that, or we are going to go back down to 60s, which this is a very awesome level right here, 66 to 68K. Definitely watching, because there's a weekly EMA which is going to give us a bounce. There's going to be some sort of a bounce. How big is that bounce going to be? We don't know yet, but there's going to be some sort of a bounce. It's going to be short term. It's not going to get us above 100, 104 and all of that. That's just not happening. But look at this one here, right? When we did break this level here, it was basically, it wasn't even retested on the weekly. Look at what happened. Price closed up below, and then it retested the same EMA that we are watching now, and then it retraced above just a few $1,000s, and it consolidated before breaking down further. And so what's concerning me right now, we are only in January, right? This price action was happening in April and May. Remember, this was like the Luna type crash, if I'm not mistaken, right? The Luna crash was happening somewhere around here, around May of 2022. So what's concerning is now, without a Luna type situation, if we are crashing here, that's not good news, my friends. That's not good news, right? Because this to happen, there was a significant fundamental reason for why this was happening, and we are already getting there. This is very concerning to me. So keep looking out for that. Like, this is not good news. And then also, once it did break this level, we never really went above this the entire year. It was crashing entire way down. So going long here would be stupid, in my opinion. Here, maybe for a short term, but again, shorts are going to be a lot more or a lot less risky, in my opinion, than long. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. But don't just be cautious about the folks who are telling you, oh, we're going to hit 60K, 68K, 65K, or we're going to go into 70s and then we're going to go above 100K. That's just It did not happen back then. It is not going to happen this time with a very high probability, right? And so this is the thing too. It's all about probability. You're forming a thesis here. Most likely scenario is that it's not going to do that. Can it do that? Yes, you're always going to be open-minded about it, but most likely no. That's what the data tells you. That's what the yearly close tells you, right? The 12-month close, this is an ugly close. And this is telling me, guys, just, stop. Like, don't go long here. This is a bad candle, and it's on a yearly candle. This is basics. If you could read anything on the chart, even if you're not like the chart expert, if you could just tell me what this is and what this candle looks like, that's it. That's all you need to know, and to form that thesis, right? So
Look out below.
huh?
Said, look out below.
Timber.
Just have to be cautious. But yeah, that's really what I wanted to say. So we'll see how this one plays out. Again, I'm hopeful that we do get that second. This is the second leg, and we do go above a little bit. It's awesome. Green markets are great, but I will not be surprised if this is it. Like, I will not be surprised if this was it. This is it. Like, we are done. We are now breaking. If it does break below this, that means we are going so much lower, and then the bounce that we get is not going to be putting us above this. It's a very highly unlikely scenario that we go above this level. So hopefully with a reverse here, we go a little bit above this and do this little pattern, and then we crash down. That's fine. So let's see how that plays out. Solana, I want to call that out as well. Solana is working out so far. The trade that we actually drew this line, it was so funny yesterday. I was sharing this with somebody who does not believe in TA at all. So this one was drawn actually here, right? We drew it right here when the price was sitting here, and we said this is going to do probably something like this, and then crash. And so when I was showing it to that particular person, the comment that I got was, oh, but it didn't do like a flat, like you drew it like this, like a straight line. It did not have a straight line crash, which was, I thought that was funny. That's not how TA works, my friends. But again, I mean, if you want a straight line, it looks pretty straight to me on the weekly chart right now. It's never going to be one candle, but I mean, it's pretty straight. So depends on how you look at it. But there's always going to be retracements. There's always going to be pullbacks. But the overall bias was that it's going below. So let's see if we can maybe even get there, right? This is a good level right now, 115. Remember, I did say when this was happening that my concern is 115 was not retested. And so there's really no long-term potential here. And that's the case now. We are at 115. We're sitting there. And now we are getting very, very close to that 100 level, 100. And so let's see if we can go a little bit under 100 and maybe find support there. Or is it going to reverse here because Bitcoin is starting to make a move here as well. So yeah, that's really my take for today. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic and charts around. We have Kelvin here. We also have Bad Price. I see Bad Price already has his charts up. We also have William. And so we'll be talking to all of them. I'm going to bring up your charts, Bad Price, since you already have up. If you want to go next.
All right. Look at this. This is absolutely crazy. I mean, I made a joke earlier, like this is what happens when you have a bunch of crypto people rotate over into metals. We trade, starts trading like a meme coin, right? You get a bunch of degens in, and it's like, hold on, what's going on? What's going on up here? Let's bring a whole lot of volatility, like this the metals market didn't have enough volatility. We're from crypto. Let's show them what some volatility is all about. This thing is, how much are we down today? 33%. It was 35% a second ago. I got these weekly support zones right here, and it is just slicing through it. Like it sliced through the first one like it wasn't even there. Like a hot knife through butter. And earlier today, just a couple hours ago, we're up here around 95. And I'm like, oh man, we might be seeing this 85 support zone like today. No, we cut right through that, and we're down here at like the 76 support, right? So let's see if it can hold that, because underneath that, we got like a $64, right? And my bias was short. This was a pounding the table short, like, trade. And historically speaking, whenever I'm like pounding the table on something, I have an extremely high hit rate with it, right? Bitcoin, around what, 17 to 20, 25K is when I was accumulating last time. And I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off to friends and family, like, you got to buy here. They're like, well, it could go to like $3,000, they said, crypto's a scam, they said. I'm like, yeah, start buying, like, at least start DCAing it, right? And it was a hard time to buy. Turned out to be right time. So yeah, on the silver, look, we were overheated. My case was we were overheated at $85, and I was like, we're going past that into kind of like a blow off, at least local top, if not like the top. And quick expansion. When you see that kind of volatility kick in and price move, like, as fast as it did, it's like, yeah, okay, we're coming down. We're coming down right back to at least that 85, right? Yeah. And I mean, that's pretty much what happened, especially when you see, like, the other day, it was so volatile, right? Like, if you look at just the daily candle, we bombed, came almost all the way back, kind of finished, like indecision kind of thing, and then just
that does look like a
straight
meme
down.
coin.
So,
Bad. That looks like a meme
I
coin
mean,
hardcore.
yeah, it's
It definitely
insane.
does.
It is insane. So, yeah, I
You
mean,
did
when
press
it
the
gave,
short, right?
when it
Back
gave
price to
way, when it
The
gave
silver
way,
Silver.
devs, yeah, the silver devs rugged. Yeah.
Yo, but again,
Silver
yeah,
the
silver
price.
devs definitely rug, dude. When this thing gave way, I mean, it gave way, right? Like, you can see it broke the value area low. Came down pretty quick, a couple hours, boom, boom. Consolidation, right? And right when like these lows were broke, it's like, okay, here we go. And it just freaking bombed, man. I mean, 35% in a day in the silver market.
This is what it does,
It's-
though.
it's
Historically,
crazy.
After big run-ups. I mean, just maybe don't look at the silver futures data because it doesn't go.
No,
back
if you
far enough, but
zoom all the way, out, right?
go look silver early 2000s. Look at silver in the 70s, 80s. Look at silver even before
Yeah,
that.
let's zoom
This
all
is
the
this
way
is what it
out.
does. It has meme
And-
coin parabolic rises and then it pulls back just like a meme coin.
Yeah, I mean, look at it back in like the 80s, right?
Oh.
80, it boom, came up, bombed. Was this 2011?
Yep.
Came up, bombed.
Yep.
So yeah, it happens, but it's far and few between, right? Like,
well, what's
you have
far
to
and
wait
few
a
between is
lifetime.
the pumps. Yeah, you like, if you don't take profit on these pumps, you're not going to get one for a decade or more. Like, it's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that's something to
And
talk about too.
And it's because, well, silver and gold is one of those things where, like, gold bugs have been made fun of forever, right? At least for like risk on traders. You know what I mean? It's like there's even a bit in the show Billions where Axe's like secretary comes to him and is like, oh, so and so's on the phone. He's been blowing you up lately. And he's like, yeah, I'll get back to him later, whatever. It's about a gold trade, right? And she's like, oh, well, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have even bothered you, right? Which the gold trades, they pay off. But really what it is, it's a store of value and all that. It's like, if you believe in the destruction of the US dollar, then are you going to be stacking cash and, you have to deal with inflation. You know, you got to deal with the erosion of your actual spending power, or, you know, stack equity, stack all these things, but you always want to have a bit of gold, right? Like even in that show I'm talking about, yeah, he joked around about it, but then like later in the season, you see him go to his safe and he just has, it's just stacked with like gold and silver bullion, right? Like just stacked.
One second, Price, 1 second. Or excuse me, one quick second. I need to call this
Yeah.
out just in case. Bits, check M15 on BTC. It's just confirmed. So we may have a long position here. But go ahead, Price, continue.
Yeah, no, I'm in a long.
nice.
I think another order got filled because I put an order right below these lows here. Well, okay, so real
you're
quick.
long on BTC.
But everyone's shorting because it's down, right? Like the big red candle, they're just aping into shorts here.
Yeah,
No,
let's go
this
over
is
that.
like
And it's funny because I was about to flip long when I saw this second weekly support get tested on the silver trade. I was like, I might want to hedge it, but you know, we're in the stream, whatever, not a big deal. Okay, so let's go over to the trade real quick, right? So 1 hour chart, just look at this, and you know, we're consolidating and moving higher, right? Like, you know, came up to what, 121. As that was happening, you see money flow started trending lower, right? You see momentum continues to print lower highs. Now, in my experience, that tells me that this is not sustainable, and you have plenty of time to kind of start building a position. But yeah, it's just not sustainable when I see that, right? Whenever there's that divergence between price and money flow momentum, it's like, okay, this thing, the ground's going to give out, not sustainable. And that's exactly what we have here. Money flow trending down, momentum trending down, price consolidates and moves higher. So to me, the move was on the downside. Now let's go over to Bitcoin with that in mind, right? Okay, I've talked about this in past streams. I've talked about this on Spaces. I'm always kind of looking for shorts above the value area high. I'm looking for longs below the value area low, right? Anything in the middle, fair value, not trading it. Look at this as a bell curve. You know, you want to be when price is extended, the imbalances, if you will. That's really where I'm looking to take up positions. So even though this is scary right here, which is wild too, look at this. It came right down and like tested this weekly support zone, like dead on it. Anyway, even though price is scary right here, it's like, I got to take the trade. Like I just got it. I have to take the long. And you know, if, like I said earlier, Bits echoed it. If I'm wrong, I can be wrong fast. And that's the thing about entering positions at extremes, right? It's like, it's at an extreme. So it's like, okay, this is where the traps happen. That's where I'm going to be positioning. Because when I'm right, I can catch a nice swing. When I'm wrong, and it ends up not being a trap, ends up like actually breaking out, I can get out of that position quickly at, you know, minimal loss. Whereas if you're trading in this fair value area, it could go either way, you know, like let's say you go long in this fair value, right? Okay, it came up. You're like, oh, okay, I'm doing good. Boom, comes back to break even. Then it starts going underwater. And you're like, what am I going to do? Should I move my stop down? Should I buy more? Should I let it get stopped out? Like it puts you in these tough spots where, you know, just experience over the years is like, yo, just avoid that fair value. Just avoid trading it. If you do trade it, you know, maybe scalps or something, right? But other than that, and that's rare that I even do that, I pretty much just try to avoid it. If anything, for that trade management, like how am I going to manage the trade? I don't want to be in these like tough spots, tough decisions. Like I want to get in my entry and chill. And if I'm wrong fast. If I'm right, then I can catch, a nice swing, the whole move, right? So, like I showed with silver, it was trending down, momentum trending down, and eventually broke down. Right now what I'm seeing is this flushed out? Like, is money flow completely flushed out? Are we starting to possibly trend up? Right? Then when I look at momentum, you can see downside momentum. It's starting to print higher lows. Sorry, I always have to think. I'm like lower high, higher low. It's starting to print higher lows here. So I want to see that continue. Like maybe this comes up some, then comes back down, and when it comes back down, I want to see it start rounding off and not go lower. Right. So I want to see a series of higher lows starting to print on momentum. And then, when in doubt, just chop the time frame in half. So let's go to the 2 hour, and it makes it easier to see, right? Like we can see now money flow is starting to trend up on the lower time frames, right? Meanwhile, price was consolidating and moving lower. So we have price moving lower, even though money flow started to trend up, right? When I look at momentum, I can totally see this thing starting to round off, come back down, and then I want to see it starting to round off for yet another higher low. I don't want to see it go past this, and I definitely do not want to see it go past that. So right now, that's just kind of where I'm at, right? Like you can see what happened with silver when I traded that way, when I saw the divergence between price and money flow and momentum. And even though it's a bit early with Bitcoin, I see that divergence happening. I see, money flows trending up while, price is just kind of consolidating and even moved lower. It moved lower, but money flow didn't just dump off a cliff right here like you would expect. Right. So it's like, is this going to be a failed push down is the question here. And, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I can totally see it coming back down, maybe taking out these lows, dipping a bit underneath this weekly support zone, and then maybe moving up. I do have some orders down here. And, then I probably put my stop a bit below that.
My alerts are triggering right now.
So we had 82.9 was the entry for Bitcoin with a stop loss under 81.6. Looks like this one is moving nicely in our direction. Let's see if we can get up above that 90.4. Let's breach that 90.4.
Hey,
right here we have at around 84K. Around 84K, we have this this green line was a previous point of control of this range right here. So that's something to kind of look out at.
Yeah.
And even if I real quick, if I let's get rid of this. If I just look at this whole thing as an entire range, right? The whole top side as an entire range. Once again, we're under the value area low. So according to my system, I'm pretty much looking for longs, right? I'm looking to trap. With that also said, real quick, I'll wrap it up. That is kind of the bull case. Let's look at the bear case. The bear case is these higher time frames just still do not look good. Monthly momentum continues to print lower highs. 2 week. Also the money flow, look, money flows obviously trending lower. Momentum's trending lower. Weekly, same thing. Money flows trending lower. Momentum continues to print lower highs. 3 day, same thing. 2 day, same thing. Daily, same thing. So that is, the bear side of it, right? That's why, like I showed, zooming down to the lower time frames, because I'd want to see that kind of bleed over to the higher time frames, starting to turn, if you will, the higher time frames. But yeah, the higher time frames look bad, but that doesn't mean that price just goes straight down. And I'm not saying that we're about to go and make new all-time highs here, especially when I see these higher time frames still looking really, really bad, like they're not fully flushed out, right? So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that price doesn't move straight down. And I'm looking for any kind of a bounce, 87, 90K. Obviously, the value, we have to reclaim that value area low around
98.
85.
98K. We're going
Oh,
98K.
98K.
98.
Yeah, I got it.
Before 78K. 98K.
Yeah, I got
before
I got
78K.
resistance zone around 99, 300. So that's in the ballpark, right? Point of control, if you look at all of this as a range, is also around 96 and a half. So that's the ballpark. Like I totally see, price coming up here, testing, getting rejected, and then we start bombing. So let's just see how it plays out. But the bottom line is my edge is overextended price action. I'm seeing what I want to see on the lower time frames. We're under the value area low. Like this just seems like a good spot to take along. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong fast. If I'm right, I get a nice payday. And overall, that's where I'm at. Yeah, it looks like we're a bit oversold down here too. So just yet another mean reversion kind of play. And I will wrap it and pass the mic.
Thank
Hey,
you.
let me throw my chart back up real quick, just as an update to what I covered a little while ago.
Yes, go right ahead. And then we'll go to Kelvin. Kelvin, if you want to start getting your charts ready.
This. Yeah, so we just drew this a little while ago, right? Where it was like this could come down, move up, and I'm pounding the table as bad price says. Like I keep pounding the table here about this previous month low. If we reclaim that, I'm telling you guys, if we reclaim this and we can hold it, we looked at the daily view, right? We looked at the daily view. We just were talking about what this candle is going to look like if it closes above the previous month low. We just talked about this just a few minutes ago. We talked about this candle. If it closes above this, it's going to be nothing but a big ass wick below. And then you got to ask yourself why the next candle after this is not going to look something like that. Like this is what you need to start asking yourself. Why isn't the next daily candle very likely to look something like this with maybe a little bit of a wick to the downside? I'm not saying it can't have a wick to the downside, but I don't think that wick to the downside is going to be very below this. I mean, at this point, you start to look at this. This is looking like a reversal formation, right? It's
beautiful.
Come on. Is that not kind of what we saw here? Like this is looking like a reversal to me. So again, previous month low is the single level to be watching right now. If we don't get a daily or a weekly close below it, I think the odds are you're going higher before you're going to continue lower.
Yeah, on that reversal point, I know you don't have the volume really up on your chart, but if you do look at the volume right now, I mean, we still have got time left in this daily candle before it closes. But there is also a divergence on that daily as of right now between volume and price. Like the range of the candle right now is really small. Way bigger than or way smaller than the actual volume that's printing. So that is like one thing that I would like to see for that kind of reversal setup is maybe more volume come in and the daily candle body, like the range of the body to be real small. So we'll see if that happens.
I think it's working on it.
We'll see if that happens.
The 1 hour candle is starting to definitely show some energy coming in here on this 1 hour. But basically, your 1 hour just confirmed it closed bullish above the 13 and 21 EMA, and it also closed above previous month low. I mean, what more can you ask for?
So I want to share my charts real quick as well. I think we are all on the same page. We caught the trade. So this is basically where the entries were upon this confirmation on M15. First take profit is, of course, right here, your 200 EMA. Really awesome levels coming up. I do believe we are going to probably go and target above this FOMC upper level that was thrown, right? This range, significant move to the downside after this, significant move to the upside after we break this, hopefully. That's what I would like to see. But this is going to be a major level to watch as well, because price could potentially roll over here. But hopefully that's not the case. I mean, this is a very significant reversal off of this level. And it's literally doing exactly what we were covering. Bix was going over this in detail a few minutes ago about, this is basically the first touch of the 800 EMA, second touch. Hopefully this
closing
holds, and the
above.
next move is going to be above. This is like
There's no take
clearly-
profits in this trade. We're holding. My take profit is 98K, and then after that,
No,
107.
it's not your forever long. You're not
This
in
is-
forever long.
No, it's not. It's not
No.
forever. I'm not
Yo,
like
what-
long term bullish, but I'm 100K.
What's
It's
funny
because
is it also seems
Exactly.
like we stay on the opposite side of the majority of
Yeah, you have to.
CT's timeline.
Yes, exactly. And see what's happening today. Silver is magically crashing after, this. And then of course the what Bix was covering during the Wolf Spaces, nice little rant that he had, which is worth listening to, is about how everybody on the CT is gonna talk about where is that money going into, even though that's not really the case, but that's going to be the perception, right? Where is that money from gold and silver going into? And influencers are going to be asking you that question. They're not going to be telling you exactly what they think, because they know it's not going to be true. But there's going to be a perception of that money floating into this. I am thinking it's most likely, like, you got to pay attention to oil. Silver, of course, $58. I think I'm going to be watching that level, 50 to 58 is what I'm going to be watching for silver potential long there. But let's see how this one plays out. This was a beautiful trade setup today, live. Alpha Seedlings, folks, I hope you got in, most of you. And I think this was a beautiful trade. I mean, this is what we look for, right? This is
Brilliant.
what Bix and I have been kind of teaching about, this kind of setup. So let's see how this one plays out. Beautiful, beautiful trade so far. We're going to go to Kelvin, and then we're going to bring up William as well. So I see you already have your charts up there, Kelvin. I'm going to bring your charts up. Let me remove mine. Okay, here we go.
Cool. Just wanted to zoom out for everybody, just to kind of show we've got 1 day and 5 hours left on the monthly. And this monthly candle looks pretty rough. Just pointing out, the 20-month moving average, we got a pretty ugly candle, likely to close below. So things are starting to break down. If you kind of look back in the past, losing that 20-month is usually it's usually the quickest move. We're probably getting into the acceleration to the end of this cycle. One thing I wanted to point out too, so I was just going to do a couple of measurements. So this is the weekly chart. We are last time we were here, I said if we get a candle body closing on the 100, look out below. And there's a reason for that. This 100 week is usually a pretty, it's kind of, I think when you finally close below the 100 week, you've sort of convinced the masses that a bear market is at least possible. And so there starts to be this panic and rush. All of this is kind of denial, and especially the bull trap. But once we start getting deeper in here, things can start accelerating because people just start losing their minds, just how traders work. But I just wanted to just do a couple of measurements real fast. So this is losing the 100. We're just measuring at the 100 to the bottom. Our first, well, I guess technically our first bottom was a negative 56% from the 100. And then this one from the 100 to the basement was 45% down. And then this one here, this was our last one. It was 56. So the likelihood of us dropping 50% is pretty strong. That number is about 43,000, 44,000 or somewhere in there. So that is kind of a rough ballpark of where we can head. I kind of wanted to point out one thing that I think is a little interesting. That is we have changed our market a little bit. So in my opinion, even though I'm bearish and I feel like the market has some downside coming up, there's definitely one thing that is a little bit unusual about this particular. So our market is changing, right? In 2024, when the ETFs came online, it wasn't at 24 or was it 25? Anyway, it was the last few years.
24, right? Wasn't it?
I
ETF
lost
started
track of
in
time.
America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have no idea what's even happening anymore.
Yeah, seriously. Well, we have to, like, as Bitcoin traders and as crypto traders, especially if you've really been in the weeds and you're not kind of thinking outside of that, our market is changing from a purely emotion driven and kind of following old fashioned rules of trading that were kind of based on pure emotion to a little bit more of a sophisticated type of market. And we saw that just nonstop when we got near the top. We had a top, and then we had a sweep of the top, and then a drop. We had a top, sweep of the top, drop, sweep of the top, and that's how it ended. I have a suspicion that our market is going to, if there's a full meltdown, I mean, there's not much you can say about that. But I'm kind of a little bit in the camp of what Bits was saying earlier, is that there's still going to be upside in this market, I think. Often when we break this 100, it's usually a pretty quick trip, but I'm very interested to know what happens when we sweep the 80. If we sweep 80, I'm wondering if we're gonna have a little bit of movement to the upside. The trap on the 50, it was a pretty bearish trap because we didn't even get there, and I really don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we sweep these lows and we still hit the underside of either the 50 or the 100. I think that there's still a little bit more to our market than just dropping straight to the 200 at 58,000. I think I'd be a little surprised if that happened, if there wasn't some other world event going on, because I feel like our market is more mature, and a more mature market will do a lot of sweeps and liquidity.
Yeah, it's
grab.
tricky. It would trick people more, right? Like,
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying about the higher time frames. I'm on board with you, Cal. Like the higher time frames definitely do not look flushed out yet. They look bearish. Some of the lower time frames look like we could see a bounce, right? And you could see that bounce, and it's not like it would really turn the higher time frames that much.
Yeah.
Right. And, we were both on the same kind of page with, we're expecting like a real bull trap for like the next thing. Like that's just kind of how these markets work. If you go back, you see, and just not with crypto, I'm saying go look at any market when it rolls over, especially something that's as popular as Bitcoin and heavily traded and has so many market participants in it. It's not like the meme coins where it just completely bombs, right? Like it does these traps, and we haven't really seen a real bull trap. Like that move that we saw up to 97, 98K, it was trappy. It looked like a breakout out of the range. It definitely was trappy, but it wasn't nearly as trappy as if we, with kind of my original thesis was a sweep of these lows to knock out the longs. A bunch of shorts would come piling in. That would provide us the fuel to, see a bit higher prices. But that would just end up being one giant bull trap. So that's the thing that, does kind of is bouncing around in my head is like, okay, well, was that it? Was that move to that 70, 97, 98K? Was that like the bull trap, or is my original thesis still in play? And here we are sweeping the lows, knocking out those longs. Let's look at the shorts. If they pile in, trap them underwater. We squeeze higher, and then the real bull trap happens, right?
That's exactly what I'm suspecting. Like that's really what I'm kind of getting at. I think this was a trap for pretty sophisticated traders, people that were paying attention and watching. I feel like there was so much downside that there was a chance for retail euphoria, and we never got it. This was sort of the trap for people that were like, okay, I'm watching the chart, I'm looking at breakouts. Here's a potential. So this is sort of a trap for traders. It's not a trap for retail, and I kind of wonder if we sweep these lows, that's when essentially anybody that's pretty novice to these markets, I feel like that's a pretty solid sweep, and that our retail trap comes later. We will, I feel like the 100 week or the 50 week is our ceiling, and it's now at 100,000. So I don't know if the 100 is on the table, but I think if we pulled back up in March or something around 95, I think that could potentially get retail trapped. So anyway, I feel like there's a little bit more to this. There's going to be a little more nuance to this market than, hey, we lost the 100, we're dropping straight to the 200. But you never know. So just trying to keep an open mind of all the possibilities and try to read this a little bit smarter. So that's kind of my take.
Great one there, Kelvin. Thank you so much for sharing. And I've been kind of looking at that 50 or 100 moving average as well, which is not something that I normally look at. So thank you for bringing that up. Here we go.
You know that's bits.
Full
You
court.
know that's bits.
You know that.
Oh,
well,
my
also,
God.
yeah. No, that's
Gimme.
that's
I was actually
awesome.
gonna make a
Gimme
comment about that.
98.
That's so funny, bro.
Let's get that 98K. Let's get that
That's
98K, or at
hilarious.
least as close to it as possible. That 200 EMA on daily, like wherever that ends up, like that's what I want to see. And it's so funny because it's playing out. If it does play out like that, right? It's exactly textbook replica of what happened in 2022. And then we have people saying, no, historical data doesn't work, 4-year cycle is done, and all of that. But it shows you over and over and over again how beautifully it works. So some key levels coming up here as well. We have the daily open that's coming up at 84.5. We have weekly open coming up at 86.5. We have monthly and yearly coming up at 87.5. And then you have your 800 EMA coming up, of course. But the goal is to get above that 90.4. That was the pre-FOMC level. Been calling it for the last few days. Let's get there. William, I'm going to bring you up if you want to get your chart set up next. Here we go. I'm going to add you to the stage. Here we go.
Cool. Yeah. So without sounding too repetitive here, I do want to comment on I wanted to comment on what Bits was saying with this little fun picture there. So if you look really closely actually at the chart, it almost looks like a middle finger right here. And I think that really like right there in that area, so definitely it's not F your shorts so much, Bits, it's F your longs there. But in all seriousness, oh my goodness, I thought I was muted. Sorry. In all seriousness, on the weekly, it's pretty much just like everyone else is saying here. I don't want to sound too repetitive. Looks like we're about to close right outside of this cloud here on the bottom side of this cloud, like we talked about, which is an extremely, extremely bearish signal there. Lady Trader did mention that 63,000 to 70,000 range and how a lot of people were like, oh, we're definitely going to bounce there. And granted, there is a lot of support there. Like you can look back here and see that nice consolidation right there, as well as the EMA, the 200-day EMA right there. But I would definitely wait for a confirmation before even trying to long there. A key thing to look at as well is the cloud, the forward-looking cloud. So this, like, you have to, one, get a bounce here according to Ichimoku, but two, get in the new cloud that forms, however wide this cloud here gets. And then we still have to get out of this cloud. So this bear cloud forms and expands right here in this yellow circle I just drew. You still have to climb out of that. So just because we bounce off the EMA temporarily down here at the 70,000 range, and all the bulls are like, oh my God, guys, we're so back. It's so great. there's still a lot of resistance that we have to punch through there, supposed resistance that's going to happen. So I'm in the same boat as everyone else here. I'm long-term bearish, like we talked about before. I definitely think in the short term, you can find some good scalps, like you guys just entered into one. I think, that I think that there's good chances for that. I mean, like you can try to ride a scalp up to the bottom of the cloud here on the daily chart, which is sitting around 87,000. You guys were talking about 87 to 90,000. So that checks out. I think that's completely possible here, but all in all, long-term bearish on Bitcoin there. I'll switch gears over to the DPIN side of things here. I'm just going to lightly touch on the state of DPIN report from Masari Crypto, like you talked about in the beginning of the stream. I'm going to go into way more depth on it on Monday's stream. So I'm just going to kind of go over a light overview and touch on the key points I think were very important. So here's the first one right here. You can find this on Twitter for anyone interested. It's on Masari Crypto's page. It's literally pinned to the top of their profile, so you can easily read through it. But this is a big one here. So you can look at the market caps of DPIN, the DPIN sector in total. Obviously, from 2022 to 2024, we grew tremendously. That's due to a lot of different factors, a lot of different market factors out there. But in 2025, we've since dropped down at the end of 2025 to $10 billion. So you can see a trend with the altcoin markets here with DPIN specifically. But the main one I want to look at is this on-chain revenue right here. So just because we dropped in market cap there, on-chain revenues, still grew in spite of that. In spite of our market cap dropping, we still have an increase, a meaningful increase from 2024 to 2025 in on-chain revenues. To the right here, you can see some kind of prominent DPINs. So this is your expected ROI on buying one miner. So with a Helium miner, your expected ROI time is 6 to 12 months on one miner. Granted, this really depends on where you install it. Like I've talked about before, if you install in a high traffic area, more usage, you're going to get probably a month or two on ROI there, as opposed to 6. You can look down. These are, again, some prominent DPINs here. You get 9 to 11 months on Hivemapper, et cetera, et cetera. But I really wanted to push and kind of accentuate on the fact, or point to the fact of the revenue growth right there. So you're still seeing revenue growth regardless of token performance, regardless of market cap of the token. So there's definitely a huge disconnect there. We can look at capital raised right here. DPIN had the most capital raised that's ever had in the past year, almost $1 billion collectively from a bunch of different DPINs. You have some notable rounds right here from Daylight, Fuse, Impossible Cloud. 00 was a big one. Hivemapper, that was a massive one from Pantera as well. So a lot of interest in DPIN still from VCs. And then this is the most important one. This is the last slide I'll show you. So right here, like you have Dylan Bain, he wrote most of this. So he says, we finally have proof DPIN revenue growth is more resilient than DeFi and L1s in bear markets. And as you can see, price change of token over here, the altcoin market, DeFi market compared to DPIN tokens is relatively the same. You have a 77% drop in Helium, 78% drop in these tokens here. Uniswap was 57% right there. So relatively very similar price action. But if you look to the right here, the revenue, again, never changed. Look back to that first picture I showed you. You have an 800% increase in revenue on Helium side here. And then you have a 70% decrease in DeFi protocols like Uniswap, and then a 91% decrease in revenue on Solana. But you have these massive revenue increases for DePIN. So all this to say is that there's a huge disconnect between token price and the performance of these DePINs in terms of how well functioning their businesses are. So I think there's a lot of hope there. Granted, I don't know how much of that value is going to come back to the token without some major tokenomic shifts. Overall, very, very bullish on the future of DPIN. Currently, I wouldn't really be investing in any of these tokens. They're all terrible. They're all down bad. I mean, if you wanted to, you could argue that, on some fundamental basis, maybe you should allocate some, especially these depressed prices. But just based on a lot of the technicals that we've gone over on this stream so far, I would probably wait until we get some more bullish confirmation on things like Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, the majors there that can maybe kind of trickle some of that signal down to the DPIN tokens later on, when maybe there's more correlation with revenue to token price performance at some point. But yeah, that's pretty much my DPIN update. So still in a shit place. Let's just say that. But revenue wise, we're looking good. Business wise, outlook is looking really solid. But overall, just really short term here, bearish. So that's my take. Without dragging on too long there. Right back to you, lady.
Thank you. Great takes there, William. Cannot wait to sit down with you on Monday and learn all about DeepIn and start deploying some of those devices out there. I want to learn everything about it. So really interesting. I see a comment from Trader Steve. I also sent you a DM, by the way. So whenever you have a chance, please take a look at it. The most alpha live stream in all of crypto. Thank you for that. A really awesome conversation today. Looks like our Bitcoin trade is working out beautifully so far.
We're deep in traders today, deep in these
Yes.
profits.
We're deep in these profits, but we're trying to be, man. We're trying to be.
Yes. This is an awesome trade. Let's get above that 90K, like Bit says, 98 before 70s. So we'll get there.
They were unbelievers, but they're sweating now. If you shorted, you shorted below 84K, you're sweating a little bit. You're feeling it. You shorted this break of the previous month low. And you're
I think you have a point too, Bits, because like the 200-day EMA is at $98,000. Like it's just sitting right there. Yeah, so I think you make a really good point there.
It's going to 98. It's gonna come up here, and then they'll get everyone that shorted here is gonna start longing up here. So yeah, that's how it goes. They were shorting here, and they're gonna long up here.
Yeah, because it's above, it gets close to 100K. So where are we headed next? 200K, right? That makes a lot more sense to some people. But yeah, we'll be looking for short opportunities. Hopefully we are able to ride this all the way up to that top around 98K. Let's see how close we can get to that, because I'll be watching that daily 200 EMA. Let's close above it. It's come down a lot because it used to be quite a bit higher, but yeah. Let's get above that.
This price action though had even me kind of doubting my analysis a little bit. I was like, "There's no way, man!" But I'm if anything, I'm consistent, guys. I'll be wrong, but I'll be wrong in my consistency. I'm sticking to it.
No, absolutely. That's what it's supposed to be, right? That's what trading is all about. But man, this is like a classic. It's exactly like how it played out in 2022. So if you're still somebody who doesn't believe in historical data and you're like on the fence about it, I definitely encourage you to look into it. It's so consistent and it's so easy to spot. And even some of those, because this is like a micro incident, right? It's not on the macro level, because the macro level is different. But yeah, this is beautiful. So this was our long entry right here. I know some people probably caught it even lower.
The beautiful thing, Lady Trader, is we caught the bottom before the move to 100K live on this stream. Bookmark it, save it. This was your chance to buy, the absolute best entry you could take probably here at this range before that next leg up. So man, what a legendary space. Yeah.
Really awesome. FOMO Friday. This is what usually happens is, we are having a conversation and then a trade confirms and it's like, okay, we gotta hurry, take this because it moves fast, and it did. We were talking about it and look at it. As soon as it confirmed, it was called out on the stream, and then it moved very quickly in our direction. So good times are back. And then, of course, even when we are crashing, which is going to happen soon in a few weeks, right? Maybe we get in a few weeks, it will be very beautiful as well, because we will be taking those trades. We will be writing it all the way down and send it where it belongs, right under 50K, which we've been very consistent in our whatever we call it, right? Our targets. We are not flip-flopping here. It's not like 1 week, we are going to the moon 200K, and the next week 50K. We've been very consistent. Like this group of traders here, this group of people here on this space are the ones that you should be following, because one thing that you're going to see from all of us is consistency. One thing that you're going to see from us is that ethical behavior. Another thing that you're going to see from us is that we don't delete our tweets. We let it run, we continue, and it doesn't matter what if we are wrong, we are the first to admit that, yes, like if we create a new all-time high on Bitcoin, which we are not going to this year, I'll be the first one to admit, oh yeah, I was wrong. Like, this is a new set of information. I'm not going to go and clean up my entire Twitter account and then pretend that I was on board with this new all-time high. So we stick to that. Like, that's what mature people would do, who are mature in markets, who have been in markets for a long time. There is no ego involved, and when we do sometimes disagree, and when we disagree with things, it's also done very professionally and beautifully, where nobody's left nobody's hurt from any of those conversations. If you joined yesterday or our stream on Wednesday, Bits, you remember we had a different opinion on where this direction was going to head. Remember?
Yep.
Like the long and the short side, and it was like it wasn't emotional. It was like a rational conversation.
Yeah, just rational. Yeah,
data driven. Yeah. And so it's like, all right, nobody.
But not with the guys though. Like when I have a disagreement with Calvin, I send him that Trump picture, F his shorts and his bearishness. You know what I mean? I just sent him that.
I mean, that's
Okay.
No, that's just
I just cry offline. That's all.
That's so funny.
That's just.
This is looking beautiful though. We're about to reclaim the Daily Open as well.
Yep, we're going to reclaim the Daily Open here in the next few minutes.
Until 100K.
Forever longs until 100K.
I'm long forever until 100K. Yeah.
Okay, let's get that 100K, or at least as close to it as we can. Get us some good moves on the meme side. I mean, Elon, I did call this one in the community. Again, memes are risky. They're trash. Be cautious with them. But this was a level that I was watching, and it did hit the level and gave a beautiful move to the upside. Yep. So with these memes, you have to be cautious, take profits as we go. That's what I do. But this was a nice little move. And when the markets are hot, when everything is green, you can find some good, awesome small market cap plays. Lots of great stuff really coming up. And keep an eye on some of these plays, some of these small cap plays. AI is big as well. And so definitely encourage you to look at Angel. Let's see if I can find it here on the screener. Here we go.
Angel, let's go.
This one. Keep an eye on it. Lots of good stuff, some good accumulation from some good wallets. So definitely do your research on this one. I'm bullish on Angel. I mean, this is my baby. AI coin with a solid utility, backed by Pawan Agarwal, who's the CEO of Sunwest Mortgage. Really awesome people that are behind it. Like the most ethical people that you would meet in Web3. Really awesome folks. So definitely take a look at it.
I feel the same way about EAT token, Lady Trader, EAT token. The guy that one of the CEOs of Linksys, he founded the company. No, not that one. Not that one. No, it's EAT. It should be 375 AI. Yeah, that one down there.
Oh, wait.
A little bit lower. Yeah, it's EAT token, but it's the 375 AI. One.
Lower.
It's like a third or fourth. Yeah, their token price is just down extremely bad, but their market cap is super low. They just came out October, and they basically set up these devices all over on these billboards in America. So like these billboards would be overlooking like I-10 or like the massive interstates with lots of traffic, and these devices collect all the traffic data from that sector, which you wouldn't think is like worth a ton of money, but a lot of hedge funds are willing to pay a lot of money to get exactly how many Toyota Tacomas drove on this interstate on this day, and what color were they? It's like all that minute type of data like these devices are collecting. And I think it's probably one of the most undervalued plays in my portfolio, in my opinion. I love the team too. Yeah.
That's great to know. We'll definitely be looking at it. This was another level that was identified. We actually had Soulboy has a cute little. They have some cute graphics, but we did catch this move to the upside, right? We rode it all the way from here to over over $1 million market cap, which most of us did exit our position around 1 mil. And then it gave a re-entry here. So let's see where this one ends up. This was pushed by some good ethical KOLs, of course. Again, risky stuff, right? You got to be very cautious with these. But we'll see if there's anything there. Soul Guy was another one that I was looking at. Man, this was actually the levels that I identified for Soul Guy. It did give some move up. I mean, this thing, Bits meme coin TA is incredible. I would not even dare to do the TA on memes if it wasn't for him, and I would not go anywhere near memes during the bear market. So yeah, that TA works beautifully and good levels on these. So as you can see, some good plays that the community is getting. If you're not in Alpha Seedlings, make sure that you are you DM me or DM Bits of Wealth, and we'll get you added. Looks like we're gonna wrap up here. Any final thoughts or comments from anybody? Price, we'll start with you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's FOMO Friday, so I guess I'll give the weekly reminder of OPSEC, right? Pain in the butt, especially in crypto. But if you're in crypto, you especially need OPSEC. So just make sure you're using, burner laptops or anything anytime you're like connecting, and a burner wallet, right? Anytime you're connecting to anything new. Make sure, I don't know, you go through X to make sure you get the right, site of anything you might be visiting in the crypto space. Just check the X page, see if it's legit, if they got a yellow check or anything like that, number of followers. You just can't be too safe in this space. I mean, it is just full of crime, right? Like, it's insane when you think about it. It's like, if I walk up to the streets and steal $10 from someone, I'm going to prison. I'm going to jail, right? Crypto, you can go and steal 10 million from someone and it seems like you're good to go. So
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, so you just have to be careful out there, I've even talked about if you're out in public and your phone dies or you need it to be charged, don't borrow a charger from a stranger, right? You can just never take your OPSEC seriously enough, and most people slack on it because it is such a pain in the ass. It's a pain. But, if you've ever had a wallet drained, it's the worst thing ever. So, yeah, you don't want to feel the pain first before you start tightening up. You want to be preventive and tighten up so you don't feel the pain. I'll pass the mic on that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for OPSEC reminders every week. We definitely need them. Kelvin, any final thoughts or comments from you?
Not really. It's just I think the market's doing its thing. Everyone's got to be patient. Just watch your risk management. Make sure that you're trading small enough amounts that you can recover when things don't go the way you think they're going. And it's awesome to be on here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Kelvin. William, any final thoughts or comments from you?
Go all in. Screw risk management. Obviously, just joking. Everyone, just joking. No, I think, Calvin, you're completely right. I mean, everyone manage your risk. That's so important. That's probably the most important rule in trading is just managing your risk. I mean, it's super difficult to do. Clearly by seeing how many traders fail, but it's necessary. It's completely necessary. Sorry about that. My dogs are freaking out. Must be a delivery driver outside. They're bullish. My dogs are saying they're bullish. Sorry, they're trying to get the bear market to go away. But
we
yeah,
need
I mean,
dogs
overall,
to be
yeah,
bullish.
right. don't fight the trend, guys. Do not fight the trend.
Yes.
The trend is clear here. The trend is very clear. And when in doubt, zoom out. If you don't see the trend, zoom out. You'll find a trend somewhere, I'm sure. Want to just say thank you, Lady Trader. Another awesome FOMO Friday, and I'm throwing it back to you.
Thank you so much. This was great. I mean, the live trade, Bits had to drop off. He's probably going and celebrating his really awesome trade that we took live today. And he's going to be probably gone until it hits 98. Let's see. We may not find Bits of Wealth. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today for another really awesome FOMO Friday. We will be back again next week with lots of streams. Starting right on Monday, we will be having a stream with William going over Deepen, and it's going to be incredible. We'll be starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, which is 1 p.m. Eastern. And he's going to be sharing all of the Deepen secrets with us and what he does in the Deepen sector and how he makes his money. So yeah, it's going to be incredible. Thank you, Kelvin, Bad Price, William, and also Bits of Wealth, who was here earlier today. Thanks, everybody, for joining, and have a wonderful rest of the week and weekend, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, William,